And women, unbelievable. You get more pussy on accident than you did on purpose. You know what I mean? I'm just keeping it real, man.
Welcome, everybody. It's another exciting edition of the Sports Hole. I'm your host, Luke. With me, as always, XFL Jim, rock and roll, Matty Goldberg. What's going on, boys?
Dude, that high note of the guitar gets me every time.
I know when it kicks in, man, you got to move your body.
I love it.
It's just still, you're dead. Oh.
How's your guys' week going so far?
So far, so good. I went to
I'll be
Joshua
right
Tree
back,
National Park yesterday. You ever been out to J Tree?
No, I've never been.
What?
Yeah, the years I lived in California, I never made out to Joshua Tree.
No, it's great. Just fucking hiking around on these big boulders. It looks like the Flintstones out there. It's really cool. It's very majestic. The desert is nice. I love me some desert. Yeah, what did you get up to?
This week, nothing much. The weekend, I watched UFL and got blackout drunk on my stream on Saturday. It was awesome.
What happened in the UFL?
Just really exciting games in week 4. Birmingham remains undefeated. DC almost took them down. St. Louis looks better and better each and every week. And Bob Stoops and the Renegades are officially, I might say, collapsing. 0-4.
Oh, no.
0-4.
You think they're going to boot Bob out of the league?
I don't know if you can. He's still one of like the bigger names. Also, I don't know if he's the problem. It's probably they have Chuck Long as their OC.
Oh, I love Chuck Long. Lions legend.
Iowa
legend. Hawkeye legend.
Seattle legend as well. Don't love him here as an OC.
No.
No,
Oh,
not as an OC.
I don't know. What even is his coaching history? I think he was OC at Iowa for a minute.
I think it was for a minute. And then obviously, like for spring football fans, he was the head coach of the Seattle Dragons in 2020.
Uh-huh.
He played called there too, but I didn't love it there either. And I think he's just been like hopping around different organizations, just kind of like being a background guy.
Yeah, he's like the first Lions QB. I remember he had like this permed blonde hair.
Yep.
It's pretty legendary.
Seems like a great dude. I love the guy.
He called me at one of the hotels I worked at once. He's like, "Hi, Luke, it's Chuck Long here." And I'm just like, it took me everything I go not to go, "You mean Lions legend Chuck Long?" Yeah. Which is like, if you're calling me at that hotel, you were calling me like at past 11 at night.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So he's probably like smoking a doob, thinking about trying to get his reservations locked down, you know?
Yeah. Got blackout drunk on a Saturday. It was great.
Oh, that's Did you get up to any antics on your stream?
I did some karaoke. I called the guests that I had on stream at the time a bitch like 16 times. I had to rewatch the end of the stream and rewatch the game that was happening at that time.
Oh,
because I was just tornadoing beers left, right, and center.
Jimbo, you're a legend. I keep trying to get on your streams, and I sit in the waiting room. And
Matty, when were you in the waiting room this weekend?
I was, but you know
when?
what?
When? Tell me when.
I can't remember the time.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You can't because you weren't there. You fucking liar.
Maddie, you got to take a
liar.
screenshot or shut the fuck up.
All right, next time I'll send you a screenshot. You were like, you took a break. It was like
he's going to get on there for 1 second.
Oh, he's either doing that or he's only there when I'm on like the shitter.
Maddie's too sensitive. All those guys that hate him are going to tear him a new asshole.
See, that's what you're, Luke. Luke knows me so. Luke knows me so well.
I don't know if you've been on a stream with Christian.
Maddie, I don't even know how you made it as far as you did in comedy with being as sensitive as you are.
Well, I used to have thicker skin. Now I don't have as much thicker skin as I used to, you know?
I get it. I hear you.
I used to be much thicker, if that makes like a thick milkshake, but I don't have the thick skin that I once
What flavor of milkshake, Maddie?
I don't know.
Maddie, I feel you're kind of vanilla.
Chocolate. I'm just a classic chocolate milkshake with a little whipped cream type of guy. No cherry. The cherry.
Maddie's no frills.
Cherry's only on vanilla for me.
I'm very simple.
Maddie, I got good news. I discovered a great taco joint in town here, and that's where
I'll be in
while you're here.
I'll be there very soon, man. I'm looking forward.
Yeah.
So like we were supposed to do this yesterday, but I went to a memorial. One of my really good friends, Jason, I'm not gonna say his last name, but he passed away in December. He moved to North Carolina with his wife, and he just crazy things happened. He passed away from a blood clot, I believe, at a very young age of 44. And we went to his memorial in LA where he used to live. So it was a lot of his LA friends, and he's from Fresno. And his father gave quite the speech.
Well, set it up. Tell it what was his relationship with his father?
Well, I don't know if he had the best relationship with his father, but his father also is known to be like a crooner singer too. So all the speeches were done. They were so beautiful, and they were all about his lovely wife and how amazing they were as a couple. And like everybody's like, when he met you, like his life was changed forever, and it's like this beautiful love, and the two of you together were so amazing. And his dad gets out there at the end where it's like, okay, speeches are over, and he's like, well, I want to speak. So he gets out there and he goes, I remember the day my son called me, and he's like, I met this girl. Well, she's not the prettiest girl in the world. She's really special. And I'm like, holy shit. Did he just say that? I mean, that was a Curb Your Enthusiasm moment.
Yeah.
I guess you had to be there, but holy moly.
Oh my God. I better tell my wife she's beautiful in case anything happens to me and one of my relatives.
Hell yeah.
Better start. But then what happened though? Then what did he do?
Well, then he starts singing. He goes, my son would love for me to sing, which I don't know if he would, but he sang, and it was not very good. And it had nothing to do with it. He's
just singing like a Rat Pack song or something. Like
it was like this weird crooning. I don't know the genre, but it wasn't good, and it didn't have anything to. One guy played like the guy wrote songs, and he played his songs, and that was really sweet because it reminded me of the guy. It was like, it was written by that guy, but like, this was just fucking weird, man.
And he wasn't trying to sell CDs afterwards?
No. But it was very beautiful. It was a very, very heartwarming, beautiful night. And besides that moment, that was kind of shocking. I was kind of mad about that because I just thought it was in such poor taste. But, what can you do, man?
It's up to the parent to make it about themselves during these things. Hey, all right. But that's a good funeral chip out there. Don't have a funeral, have a memorial 3 months after the fact, and then everybody just enjoys themselves a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting.
My God.
But we're here. We're sports guys. We're here to cover the great world of the sports hole. The playoffs have started. The NBA and the NHL after a bad March Madness. These games have been electric.
They've been good.
Got in spring football. We've seen buzzer beaters. We've seen some great hockey games. Home teams are winning. Thailand beat Kuwait in hockey 57-0, which is probably the sports story. Yeah, it's true. There's highlights. You can look it up.
Can anybody touch them?
Well, I used to play in a bar league where I played like when I was 18. I played these men that we all, drank. They all drank beer and shit. And like, I was like, I think we could have taken the Kuwaiti team, and I was the starting goalie. I think I could have beat the Kuwait team as the starting goalie.
Goalie, you're like half the size of most.
The shots were 115-1.
Why couldn't the Thailand people get any shots off? That smothering Kuwait defense?
I didn't see the whole game, but I saw the highlights. I saw they didn't. It looked like they just learned how to ice skate.
Well, they are in the middle of a desert.
Yes.
No, that's Kuwait.
Yeah, Kuwait's the one who lost.
Kuwait lost.
Oh, it was Thailand was the one. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Those Thailand guys are fast, though.
They're sneaky.
Yeah. Good.
Pretty sneaky, sis.
But Thailand's super hot, too. That's like a super humid country.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, that humidity beats desert. The century.
That's what we've learned today.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So in that case, Nebraska beats Southern California then.
Yes.
In the summer, it does. Damn
and
right.
unfortunately, my friend's kid that was going to Arkansas now he's going to USC because Musselman is the coach there now.
That checks out.
Yes. I guess he didn't want to deal with John Calipari.
It is funny that like John Calipari had a blue chipper in his lap and couldn't keep
I know.
it.
Well, he's probably this is his probably last job.
I would think so. Who knows? Sometimes like it's just in your blood. Like Patino, you think would have just walked away, but nope. I'm coming back.
Yeah.
Hoorah.
Well, he can still coach though. He can still coach.
Yeah, and I think he actually is a better coach than
By
I think so
far.
too.
There's no better salesman though than freaking
No, that's it. And he understood that and he did it great. You know. Guys, tomorrow, finally, the NFL draft.
Let's go.
I don't know about you guys, but I can't stand 24-hour speculation on NFL draft because we already have everything. We already have all the tape. You know, we've had all the tape for months. And it's like somehow things are just still shifting. Like, what the fuck has happened? There's been no games going on. We don't, why is shit shifting all the damn time?
Well, here's my feeling. I'll let Jim go first.
I was just saying, I'm just hoping for like a crazy trade. That's what I always hope for in the draft. I just want a crazy trade.
Here's my feeling is that I really believe that the draft 2 years ago hurt. I mean, I'll watch the draft, don't get me wrong, and I'm curious to see where these guys go. But I really think the draft a few years ago, with all those quarterbacks, Wilson, Fields, Trey Lance, we were so excited. They're new like toys that we're all going to be like, they're just going to blow up the league, and it's a great quarterback draft. And 4 out of the 5 are busts, and we still don't know how good Trevor Lawrence is. And it's like, okay, we hyped this shit up so bad. We hyped this up for Trey Lance, for Zach Wilson, for all these guys that can't, for Mac Jones. Like, this is a joke, man. Like, just let's see where the chips fall. We don't need to hype this up for fucking 5 fucking years because most of these guys are going to be busts.
Yeah, this is like one time where it's like 24-hour sports networks are not a good idea. Like, just stop. Please, just show more lumberjack competitions. We don't need to talk about, Jim Harbaugh is going to trade Justin Herbert and pick JJ McCarthy. No, that shit's not going to happen. We've reached peak bullshit on this stuff.
Yeah.
It's always also the worst, like the week of where everything just like people try and get all their takes out as possible. Like I just even saw like some people are saying like T. Higgins wants a trade now off the Bengals. So well, maybe they're going to do something. Apparently. It is, but maybe that means people are going to put into their draft analysis. And it means the Bengals are going to try something.
Well, I hate all that shit too. That's why I don't put that stuff in the rundown. Like someone's demanding a trade. It's like, okay, they're just trying to contract negotiate. That's it. And it'll probably work out for them.
I mean, we as much as you're a draft expert, it's harder than picking horses. You really don't know. And you can get a guy right. You can go, this guy is the future of the NFL. And you could say CJ Stroud is the man. Nobody knew. Yeah. He is the man, but you didn't know. Nobody knew. Well, even if you knew, you didn't know. You just hit lucky. Truthfully. The experts can't figure this shit out. But
I've watched videos on how hard it is to predict this shit. And I don't know. I forget what they said was the best returns, like as far as predicting. And I think it was like inside linebacker or something weird like that. I don't know. It was very random, but quarterback was very low on that.
There's so many intangible things that go into being a quarterback in the NFL that it's like impossible.
And every position too. For quarterback's just one, but a lot of them they get a lot of shit wrong. So it's like 5-star coming out of high school is not even a good indicator.
I mean, even look at Archie Manning. Who knows how much he's going to play? So we can do Caleb Williams, we can do May, we can do Daniels, we can do all these guys.
Do the million receivers that are in this draft that everyone's saying are going to be amazing.
2 quarterbacks are probably going to be really good, and 5 of them are going to be busts. and they're going to be sitting on the bench, and you're going to like analyze Zach Wilson to the end, to the death of him. And Trey Lance is this guy that like, oh my God, he's going up the board. Trey Lance, you can't pass on this talent. I know he's at North Dakota, but holy shit, look at it. He can run, he can do this, and now you don't know, he'll play in another 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, he might just be a backup and then be out of the league at some point. We did Zach Wilson did get traded though, for
Yes.
those of you. He's going to go but he's at the Broncos now, and they don't really have anybody there
No.
right now. So Jesus, there's a chance he could even get up in a game there. I
And
mean,
what is
Ben
Sean Payton,
DiNucci, Luke.
Yeah.
Ben DiNucci.
what does Sean Payton think
Didn't-
that like
no,
he's going
Zach
to
Wilson has won more games at Mile House Stadium than all the Jared Stidham or Ben DiNucci combined.
yeah, he's 2-0 there.
He's 2-0. Those guys have each won one apiece or something there.
And do you
So-
think he's going to be better than Russell Wilson? Do you think Sean Payton's going to yell at him? Do you think fucking Zach Baby Wilson's going to handle being yelled at by Sean Payton? He'll probably have to treat him differently than he treated what's his face like shit.
He doesn't have to do shit. Zach Wilson's lucky just to have another job, to be honest.
Well, I'm just saying that, like, Sean Payton ain't doing like, you got to go. Do you know what you're doing?
yeah.
You know what you're
Yeah.
doing here, because you came in here, you shit on the regime before you. You did nothing to improve the team, and now you have Zach Wilson as your quarterback.
Yeah, this strategy is a little bizarre. It's like, let's take some like bona fide backups at best and
Yeah,
have them duke it out for number one. You know, like,
insane.
Where are they picking?
oh,
I'm not
Like,
sure.
I don't think
Probably
they're
the
going
top
for a
10.
quarterback. Well, looking that up. Maddie, I have a question for you since you brought
Yes.
his name up a couple times. Trey Lance.
Yes,
How many football games out of high school do you think Trey Lance has played total?
10,
College and NFL?
10,
No, it's way more than that.
15.
Well, not way more. It's 28. He
See,
did. He played a full season in college, Maddie.
never played was what's his face who played on the Patriots. He played Matt Castle. He never started in college, so it happens.
Denver's picking 12, by the way. So unless they
could
trade
get
up,
McCarthy, they could get McCarthy or somebody.
we'll see. I thought he was going to be sort of a dark horse, but then now he just managed to bump himself up a lot.
It really depends on since you're the Broncos, you're definitely not getting Caleb. You're definitely not getting May or Daniels probably. So then how far down do you put those other guys on your board? Like the McCarthys, the Penix, stuff like that. Because
Yeah,
you're probably going to get one of those guys for sure. You'll be able to get one of them.
you could,
Yeah.
but then that's still a weird quarterback room if you don't
very.
get like a top quarterback, which they're not going to get.
Well, now
mean-
people are saying the Patriots are going to make.
Well, the other thing too is Zach
Right.
Wilson is they're going to be like, well, the Jets just screw quarterbacks up. I watched enough of Zach Wilson. It has nothing to do with the Jets. He stinks.
No, and Sam
just don't
Darnold
have
was
it.
terrible everywhere he went.
He's
so-
like a golfer that can drive a ball 500 yards, but has no clue to how to play golf. He can do the Pat Mahomes trick
Yeah.
passes. He should work at a golf cart place where it's like, come watch the amazing Zach Wilson, do crazy stuff but he can't read a defense for a 5-yard out. He's a bum.
Yeah, well, I'll just be happy to finally get it over with, to be honest. Because I look forward to it. It is always fun.
It's fun, but there's no need to overanalyze is what we've come up with.
No, I used to, and when they used to have it like just on the weekends, I had buddies that would watch every selection.
Yeah.
Like they
One of
would
my
set up
buddies is going
buffets and everything.
Yeah.
Where's the draft this year?
Detroit.
Detroit.
Oh God.
They actually had a funny commercial. I'll give Goodell, who I'm not a big fan of, him and Eminem, where he's like, can you teach me how to be cool? And he's like, nope. Basically saying you're a dork. And like, you're going to get booed. so
He is
just,
pretty
like,
good at taking the piss out of himself,
Yeah.
though. Remember that COVID draft and they had the booze all, pumped in through the system?
Yeah.
They're, I appreciate that. I mean, at
I
least
mean,
he
he has to
gets ahead
know
of it.
too, like, you're gonna boo the fuck out of me, but hey man, I am making 45 mil a year. So who's the jackass, right? Whether you think I'm doing a good job, I'm making 50, he's probably making 50 mil now.
Yeah. No, he makes, that's what he makes, about 50 million a year. Who knows? NBA playoffs, Maddie, you got any early observations here?
Yeah, Celtics are tomato cans. I hate watching them.
What is going on? They
They have no.
dominated.
You know what they do? They act like they won a championship. You haven't won crap. You lost to a team without Jimmy Butler. You lost to Tyler Hero and his dumb headband. You are fools. Stop acting like you won stuff. You haven't won shit. That's all I know right now.
When was the last time the Celtics won the NBA?
2008.
Yeah, that's when they had like
Yeah,
Paul
Paul
Pierce
Pierce.
and Garnett and all them.
Yeah.
And they still only managed one championship.
I know
with
they
that
should have won a
roster.
lot more than that.
Jeez, oh Pete's.
But it's been good so far. I mean, the Nuggets beating the Lakers with the buzzer beater was probably the moment of the playoffs so far. It's been
10
very
in a row, baby. 10 in a row.
Yeah, the Nuggets are.
They
that
beat
was
the
game.
Lakers 10 in a row now.
Yeah, they are. It's actually LeBron's longest losing streak against a team.
I
And
feel
that was a game the Lakers needed. Like,
yeah,
that
I
was
honestly
the
feel
game they
bad
needed
for
to
Lakers
steal.
because they're like they're trying very hard.
Yes.
And they're like even getting on top and getting leads, and then it's just it's like the Nuggets just kind of, okay, we've been here. Let's just do our thing. And they just come back. And Jokic is just a maestro. He's like thinking 4 moves ahead
He's
at all
so
times.
fucking good, dude. He's
And
so good.
it's just insane. I love it. Yeah, but being a SoCal guy, I was like, I'm just rooting whoever wins this series.
You're a Detroit guy. You got to root for your Pistons. They're coming back.
I mean, they might come back to the stadium next year, the arena next year, if maybe. I don't know. They're so fucking bad. There's all these teams that they've been in the lottery with that are now sort of making the playoffs or are fringe playoff people, and Detroit just gets
It also
worse.
seems like Kevin Durant, like the swagger of Kevin Durant is over. Like, he's no longer a threat to win a championship.
Well,
And
he's
it's all-
fine,
He's
but
still
he's like
he's still doing good.
he's
It
doing
doesn't matter.
good.
They're
That
not
team
winning.
just sucks.
Yeah.
And
And
he's
the
not a
other thing
leader, you know.
The other thing I noticed is
It's okay. He's going back to OKC soon.
Oh, that would be dope.
Right?
I would love that. I would love that with all my heart. And he could, that's what they need too. They need experience on a team, because if the Pelicans, if Williamson was in this series, I think they could win, like they just don't have the fucking experience right now, which is one thing you do need. So that'd be cool if he ended up back there.
But you can feel that Lakers game, that it was just like they're up by 15, but you can just feel it, like just unraveling, and they're coming back and they're coming back, and it's just like, can the Nuggets do it in time? And they did in time.
But I mean, it's fun. Kudos to LeBron for still looking like
he looks
a top
awesome.
player in his 21st season or whatever.
He is the real deal. No doubt about it. He is the real deal.
Very much an inspiration for old folks like us. What, Maddie, like I always want to like sprint. I used to be fast when I was younger, and I miss sprinting, but now I'm like, I would totally tear an ACL or something.
Just swim.
Yeah, and LeBron's out there doing it every night, just fucking running full blast.
How old is he right now? 41, 42?
No, I think he's like actually 39.
Yeah,
so he came in the league when he was 18, remember?
Yeah, I'm like 9 years older than him, and I'm like, I played basketball with my nephew, football with him.
Yeah, it's exhausting, right?
Yeah, but he also looks about 10 years older than you.
Don't think
he looks like an old man?
Right, but do you think your nephew Jack is as formidable as like Jokic and Michael Porter Jr.?
Oh, absolutely. You know what's funny about my nephew?
He just wears you down.
He's an asshole and he's smart, so he watches these YouTube videos, and he's already got all the celebrations down. Yeah. Where he's like knows all the trash talking. He knows the gritty. He's now playing with his shirt off because he watched a video with guys with their shirt off. And I'm like, put your fucking shirt on. This is not shirts and
Show him that Philip Seymour Hoffman in something about
he'll love
Holly
it.
or whatever that one. Yeah. Or he's
White
Ben Stiller
chocolate.
just goes right into his armpit.
Oh, that's the best.
But
Yeah.
speaking of the Nuggets, though, real quick, Michael Porter Jr. has had like the worst week last week. So we had talked about his brother,
Yeah.
Jonte Porter. He's now completely banned from the NBA. So last time we did the show, we weren't sure what they were going to do. They completely banned the guy for betting and sort of trying to manipulate the prop bets on him, which, you know, if you're not a great player and you're one of the first to get caught on this, guess what? You're fucking going to be used as
They're gonna use you
fucking
as an
warning to
example.
you're going to be a
Yeah.
warning shot for
Yeah.
everybody. So sorry, Jonte.
They
Good
got it.
luck.
They got to set a precedent. As I
They
learned
do.
in high
Especially
school.
now, because this shit's getting serious. It's getting rampant. It's getting ubiquitous. It's everywhere now.
Yeah. I learned that in
Um,
business law, by the way, in high school.
What's that?
The word president.
Precedent.
Yes.
Precedent.
Meaning you
Yes.
got to set a law to kind of set the
Absolutely.
you know, so you
Yeah.
can't have people doing it again.
Right. No. And so it sucks, man.
He's not the worst brother, though.
No, the worst brother killed a guy or
Yeah.
someone in an accident, a drunk driving accident. He was at, so last week too, this guy gets sentenced to 6 years in prison. So I used to read about all these guys when they were coming up, and that whole family is blessed at basketball. The dad was a coach.
Mhm.
It's funny because Missouri basically hired him as an assistant to get Michael Porter Jr. to Missouri. And of course, Michael Porter had, he fucked up his back like a few games into the season.
Yeah.
And this when he was supposed to be the number one player in the country too. But yeah, tough break for the Porters, man.
Did
Really,
someone ask him a question about his brother, like during one of the after
oh,
game
I didn't see
pressers?
that. No, what happened?
I don't remember. Like if
I
they,
don't think anybody's brought it up about either one of his brothers. It's got to be a weird thing to ask. And I would probably even be like, look, I'm just going to talk about basketball. I just don't want to comment about it. And I would understand, you know, because those are tough
Right.
things to talk about.
No, I think, and the team has talked like, hey, of course we have his back and we're here for him,
Yeah.
whatever he needs. So of course, like you would hope from people you work with, but it just sucked. I mean, to have two brothers go down for two stupid decisions, different kind of decisions in the same week is really rough.
Yeah.
NFL news: Matty Ice, calling it quits finally.
But didn't we know this?
Maybe
well, like he didn't
it's been
officially.
official now.
Yeah, it wasn't
I mean,
official.
did you think he was going to come back?
No, but
I mean,
like,
I don't know. Some people can just kick around as a backup forever, even if they were really great at some point, you know?
So if you don't announce your retirement and you're 30 years too old to play, can you still announce your retirement?
yeah, why not?
Yeah. Maddie, you can still announce your retirement from junior high soccer, or whatever.
Well, that's right. I backed up Isaiah Elohim's dad.
Yeah.
I got in a game because his dad was a hothead, and he's dribbling the ball and he's fighting with a kid down the field like they're punching each other. And the coach took him out of the game. He's like, "What are you doing?" Like, you know, and he goes, "Goldberg, get in." And it was like such a like fuck you to the
What?
guy because me going in for the star player was like, you know, it's like if fucking Danny Hurley put his son in like the first minute for the center, you know, if you got in a fight just to like you got a technical, he's like, get in, like, you know, the worst players.
Yeah,
So,
Send a message.
yeah, you gotta send the message to the guys.
absolutely. Reggie Bush, they gave him back his Heisman Trophy, and
It's
USC will
about
get a
damn
replica.
time.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
Definitely feel he should have that trophy. I also feel USC should not get to rep on this though, because that was a violation, a major violation at the time too, because they came out with an unfair advantage by paying this dude a ton of money before this was illegal shit. So
I'm cool with him getting it back. I kind of agree with you. Just like
Yeah.
fuck USC, it's fine.
yeah, okay, good. Yeah, always fuck USC though, anyways, because
You know, did Michigan get their Final Fours back?
No,
Will
I mean, we
they?
didn't get. We had to vacate all those fucking wins because Chris Webber took some money when he like it's so dumb. Like,
Yeah, but shouldn't he get him back? Like, then shouldn't they just say, okay, let's give it back to everybody?
I'll see. Yeah, if they're doing this with the Heisman, then that's a precedent. A
Yeah.
precedent,
There
Maddie.
you go. We
Yeah.
learned a word
Yes.
today.
Yes. So maybe we will get all them Fab Fours back, and they were like banned from the program forever too. It was really bad.
It's a bullshit. It's
Yeah.
bullshit.
It's
Sorry.
bullshit. Bullshit.
Yes.
You got. I don't know if any of you guys watched that boxing match this weekend. This was
No.
so good. Ryan
that
Garcia, Devin Haney.
Hmm.
I hadn't watched boxing in forever. I think I watched the Tyson Fury match,
Yeah.
like his first or second match against Wilder. I think his second one,
Mhm.
and loved that. But I haven't really been following it. I used to follow it a lot in the early 2000s. But this was fantastic. This was such a unique fight.
Did it bring you back to Hagler Hearns?
Well, I was a little young to appreciate Hagler Hearns when that came
Yeah.
out, but
Mhm.
this was I mean, nothing's as explosive as that, but this was like, it was interesting because, you know, Garcia's more the power guy, sort of the knockout artist, and he gets a lick in early, but then Haney adjusts and he's the technician and starts taking control of the fight pretty early on. And usually in situations like that, when the technician kind of, when you got something in on him and then he takes over, it usually goes his way, but not this time. It would just be like he'd take over and then Garcia would drop him again. And then it was like, it just kept going. And then Garcia just seemed to get stronger. And Garcia would take like half rounds off too and sort of like not look like he's doing much and then just pop him. It was really good fight. I will definitely watch that third one. Garcia's a real deal. He's kind of a
Are you
nut
gonna
kid.
watch Tyson? What's his face?
If I'm home, it's on Netflix. Why not?
When is it?
I think in June 20th, maybe
Are you gonna watch in 2 weeks the Brady roast?
Actually, I think it's not until July.
July.
Yeah, it's like-
Okay.
I think it's
yeah.
July.
What
The
do you
Brady
know,
roast.
Jim?
Oh,
Just it's live on
Netflix.
Netflix.
who's going to be roasting him?
The
Gronk?
Roastmaster General Jeff Ross, Stuttering John Melendez, the head writer of the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar roast.
Oh, good. They got a legend in the roast game.
Who else? You ever hear of a guy named Dat Fan, winner of Last Comic Standing's first season?
Oh yeah, Dead Fan. Fantastic.
Big name. I just know Jeff Ross.
Maddie, do you know Geechee Guy?
No.
He won Star Search like all these weeks in a row. And he would tell jokes like, officer was trying to pull me over for not having a rear view mirror, but I didn't see him.
That happens. You know, you got to look up, Luke. Tomorrow, look up Vince Champ.
Vince Champ. Okay.
Just Google the name.
I like the name already. Anybody with a
Yeah.
name like, you know, that was like in the 80s, there were dudes like Vince Champ, and then there'd be like Tommy Bananas coming to the stage, and he's like
Just
wacky. Yeah.
Google him and you'll text me right away. And you'll be like, let's talk about him on the Sports Hole.
Let's talk
Does-
about Vince Champ.
Yeah.
Does Jeff Ross only get out of bed for roast now?
Look,
Well, they tried to cancel him. It didn't stick. So I don't know.
I didn't even know he was the people tried to cancel him. I
well,
only,
there was some inappropriate relationship with a youngster at some point, I guess.
Well, that's just highbrow comedy at this point. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
right.
he's just trying to be like Seinfeld.
Yeah. I think at some point they just go, well, he's not Chris D'Elia, so we'll just let him go. It's not that bad.
Like, I only for like the last 15 years, I've only seen him in like relation to roasts.
Did you ever go see him when you were in town? Like he was always at the Comedy Store.
Oh, that okay. So he just does local stuff and then just like
I
only.
guess. I don't know.
you know what? Look up Vince Champ right now, real quick. It's one of the weirdest stories. Like, if he was a wrestler, he'd be in Dark Side of the Ring.
The comedian?
The serial rapist
The
comedian?
comedian.
That's
Yes.
the first thing that shows up.
Yeah, I saw that too.
This guy's got like an hour and a half video on him.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, one day we'll have to do a deep dive on that. He was a
Yes, what-
Christian clean comic, too.
The champion of raping, apparently.
And what they would figure out, they figured out that all these rapes were happening when he would perform at colleges.
Yeah, it says right here in his wiki, known as a nice, respectful comedian who only did clean material, which made him a favorite for college campuses. And then literally like below that is rapes and attempted rapes linked to Champ.
Yeah.
I like attempted rapes. It's like you failed, buddy. Like
Oh.
how was there multiple attempted rapes?
He was
too?
hitting up the Midwest hard, raping
I know, he
Iowa
was
and Iowa
probably in
City.
Nebraska.
Yep, literally 1997. Champ
What are
raped
his
a woman
stats?
at
What are
Union
his
College
rape
and-
stats?
Oh, he's
raped a
got
woman
a
in
lot.
Iowa, raped a woman in Union in Nebraska, attempted rape at Knox College in Galesburg, Illinois. No charges were brought against him. Authorities believed he raped a woman who was practicing piano at Carthage College in Wisconsin. Raped a woman at St.
Imagine
Ambrose,
like you're
Davenport,
working on some
Iowa.
Chopin number, and then Vince Champ just comes up and grabs you.
And he's
Here's-
the comic coming into town.
Also, Luke, this is like
Yes.
September 6th, 1996, rape. February 6th, 97, rape. February 9th, 97, rape. February 10th, 97, rape. This guy's raping like he's like on a fucking work schedule of rape.
The funny thing
Only
too is
works
that like
clean, though.
if you're a comedian, you can get laid no problem. Any guy that gets on a stage and has an inch of talent gets laid. Sorry.
Yeah, if
But
you have
the
like a
thing is,
personality on a stage, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that he was a clean comedian.
Oh, that's the best. That's like those Republicans that get caught like doing
Blowing a
gay
guy in
stuff.
the
And
bathroom.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
His
the
last
same
one-
concept.
His last attempted rape was May 6th, 1997 at Pasadena City College.
Well, Bill Cosby, I don't think he was early on, but he was America's dad, a clean comic later on, and even preached about values to
Oh, yeah.
the black community and was doing all this shit. So yeah,
Yeah.
you never know, man. Pick your heroes wisely or don't have any fucking heroes to begin
Well, that's what I'm learning. No heroes, man. The Celtics
No
are
hero
not
show.
heroes.
Yeah. I like you
They
guys,
might
but
do
you're not
nice
my
stuff
hero.
off the court, like charity shit. But to lose to Miami, by the way, Jimmy Butler just fucking trolling the Celtics on Instagram.
With his
Look at him.
bangs.
Oh, he's just making fun of him. And it's like, how do you guys lose? Like, Tyler Hero is your best player. Tyler Hero is just all like style, no substance,
Oh my God, he looks like Malibu's Most Wanted too. That's the best
right?
part.
He wears
Like,
the
yeah.
dumb headband
Love it.
backwards.
Love it.
I mean, he's an idiot.
I
No
mean,
offense.
just this little thumbnail in the ESPN section has him throwing up some weird sign like he's
I
all.
know, he's so silly.
I remember like when he was getting drafted, he's wearing a do-rag, right?
Yeah, he's funny.
And he's like, yeah, no, a lot of people don't make it out of where I come from. He's like from a rough spot in Milwaukee, but it was funny because Bomani Jones was like, who radicalized this guy? Where was he
Yeah,
radicalized?
well, it happens.
It was very funny. Yeah. Oh, that's got to be embarrassing. Man, the Celtics are I would bet on the Celtics next game because that's too embarrassing.
Well, you never want to be the Vince Champ of any. You don't
Anything,
want to be
just
the
anything.
Well,
Vince
you
Champ.
could be the
anything.
Vince Champ. I mean, Vince
Yeah.
Champ was very successful in what he was trying to
You don't want to
do.
be the Vince Champ of podcasting.
He only appeared to fail a couple of times.
Jim, don't be the Vince Champ of spring football.
I'm not clean, Maddie.
When you say that, do you mean like he's into spring football and he rapes, or he's just bad at it?
I don't know. You just don't want to be the Vince Champ of anything.
I don't know, but he was good at what he tried to do. Rape.
Yeah.
And clean comedy.
Yes. And clean comedy.
He
It all
also would
just-
read like Bible scriptures while he was doing it. So yeah,
I thought
Guilt.
so while he was doing the comedy, right? Not while he was raping.
no, while the
people.
rape, no, the rape.
Oh,
the
that's
rape.
oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah. I think I did a couple bringer shows with him.
You brought him victims? Is that what you were bringing?
I would feel horrible if I was like the college booker and like you booked that guy for your college, and like I would feel so much guilt to school.
Right. My God. It's
Yeah.
like you're almost like an accomplice at this point.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Well, speaking of wacky shit, Aaron Rodgers apparently said somewhere the U.S. government created HIV back in the 80s.
See, that's not too far fetched.
That's a normal conspiracy
A
theory.
lot of people
You think
that.
so?
That's a
Yeah, a
very
lot of
normal
people- yeah.
conspiracy theory.
That is a high one about to kill off the homosexual community. That is a very common one, and there is something to it because there's a great movie on HBO called The Heart of. It's with what's his face, Mark Ruffalo, and it's about gay people in the 80s and how AIDS just like it came out of nowhere. And they
Oh,
were
yeah.
just so confused because they're like, what the fuck is going on? We're just dying so fast. And it just seemed like the way it would go through your body, it just didn't seem like it was not man-made. So I'm not gonna say what it was. I'm not a doctor, but I've heard it before, and I don't think it's that fucking crazy.
I read the whole history of HIV
Yeah.
a while ago, and it was basically what they claim it was like a German soldier was in Africa, right? And there is, I think it was something like where he got bit by a monkey or some shit. Like there was
Yeah.
truth, and they can live with the virus, but when it jumped to him, humans can't live with it. And then it
Sure.
sort of stayed in that area, just in this one area for a little bit, and then they had this guy, what they call a patient zero, and I think he was from Montreal or something.
Yeah.
And then when he went to, some of the thing too, though, in the 80s, though, is the gay scene was insane. Like bathhouses where you would take on like 20 lovers a night, like
Jesus, Montreal.
it
How would
was
you know?
nuts. I was there, man. I had a
Back
fun
in those
youth.
80s.
Yeah, when I was 9, that's what I was doing.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem like whether Aaron Rodgers is 100% wrong or not.
Right.
Like he has a right.
Oh, wait,
to
but
say
he also
anything-
says he thinks
Yeah.
Fauci was involved in this.
Well, he was.
Mm.
Fauci was the main doctor for AIDS. That is a fact.
No, I know that, but he was the main doctor for like AIDS research, not
Yeah.
for not for the creation
Sure.
of AIDS. And
Look,
he
who knows?
definitely
But like, why do we need to protect Dr. Fauci? He made millions of dollars the last few years. He was on television. Now I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm not a big Fauci guy. I'm not gonna say he has anything. But look, everybody. I don't know, like if
Betty,
if
you're
Aaron
missing the whole
Rodgers-
fucking point here. Sorry. The whole point is you're making $50 million a year. Just fucking shut your mouth for a couple more years. Like
I get
Yeah,
it, but
he
like
can enter
there's
his
guys that
podcast
say
arc
all
after
types
the
of weird
NFL.
shit. Like, look,
no, I
didn't
get
care-
it. And
listen,
I love the guy. I always hated him, but now since he's gone wacky, I kind of
Yeah.
like him.
look,
And the point is just that you're a very public face of a very public industry, and you're
I
making a
understand.
lot of money. And it's like, dude, just fucking dial it back
I
for a couple of
don't
years.
look. Deshaun Jackson said things that I don't agree with, but does he have a right to lose his job as an NFL player? I say hell no.
No, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to get I think at this point, Aaron Rodgers is sort of getting the Kyrie Irving thing, like, okay, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers is a legend too. So
Sure.
they don't want to boot him out in what might be his last year or something. And this is also something like until he says something blatant against maybe a certain segment of society, a race,
Yeah.
or if he were to say something.
If he
I mean,
fully
like-
comes out as like anti-Semitic or something like
yeah,
that, then-
that's a different story. These are
Yeah, but
just sort
Deshaun
of
Jackson
wacky.
did, and nothing happened to him. So it's like I wasn't like did I like that he put a swastika on his Instagram? No, but he has every right to play in the NFL because I don't think that should be like you're. I still believe in free speech, and maybe you should be a little educated on your free speech or some. If Julian Edelman,
No,
I was
wants
gonna
to
say
take it to
it's okay.
Holocaust
He
museum.
did the rehab with Julian Edelman. It's all-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like whatever. Aaron Rodgers is a conspiracy theorist, and that's what he is. And like, I don't think he should lose his job. I think he's enjoying this. I think he's trying to burn it all down. I think
It would be funny if he really just sort of maybe didn't really believe this shit either. That would be fantastic. That would be.
I think
so
he
fun.
really does believe it. But like, take like Tom Brady. Tom Brady had a Donald Trump hat. I don't think he was like a Trumper, but he had a hat, and he's distanced himself. He says all the right things to keep his business because he's got his Brady brand, and he knows exactly what to do. Aaron Rodgers don't give a fuck. So, You know, you can have a guy that's phony, that's doing everything to protect his business, or you can have a guy that don't give a fuck. And
Yes.
I'm fine with either one.
All right.
I know what you're saying though, Luke. Like, hey, like if you're the Jets, you're like, let's sit this out. Like, come on, you know, like
Right.
take
Like
a
we
couple
want
years.
attention for Aaron Rodgers because he's lighting up the league, not because he's saying shit behind a microphone. You
Well,
know?
I'll tell you this: you win a Super Bowl for the Jets, you could say that fucking aliens probed your asshole every day and made you an NFL legend, and people will buy it. You know,
I
so
wouldn't doubt if he said that at this point either.
Yeah.
So
he does believe in aliens.
I'm sure he does. I mean, I kind of do too. You know,
That's
like
one of the least like
I could even agree with him on a lot of things, and some things I
Yeah.
think I might even do. I don't mind. I think people should question authority.
But he is
at
a
all
he is
times,
a
you know?
he is a conspiracy theorist to the
Yes.
highest level.
I think he's
Yeah,
just
just
annoying.
is.
He's like an annoying contrarian.
Yeah. He also
Um,
likes
Any
pushing
opinion you
buttons.
have, any
He
opinion
loves
you have, he'll
pushing
just have
buttons.
the opposite.
Yes.
And he's not as bad as a person as Vince Champ. So he's
No.
got that going.
That's I think that's what he said. He's like, "Oh, you don't like my theories? At least I'm not Vince Champ." That's came out
Yeah.
of his mouth.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
One other thing, it's kind of stupid because I don't have any video of this, but I have a Serb friend at work, and he's always like kind of making fun of people from his home country and shit. And he shows me a live soccer game today. And so there's two Serbian teams are playing each other, and there's a big, massive fire in the stadium, and they're all just still playing through while this fire is raging.
it's a normal day in Serbia.
You know
Right,
what's
just
funny?
a fucking another day, you know?
Remember when like things got a little hot and heavy in the NBA and LeBron was like, you know, somebody threw a cup at a guy and somebody threw like somebody every once in a while somebody will call KD a bitch and he'll flip out and they'll throw somebody out.
Yeah.
Like these guys, like, how do you play when like people want to like murder you? You know, like these are some tough conditions.
Yeah.
You know,
You just muscle through it.
we got plastic cups being thrown at guys and
That's too much.
these other places. Yeah.
Right. I
I
know.
don't know.
It's like if someone hurls a racial slur, they shut the game down, you know, like
Yeah.
but this thing, the whole stadium's in flames and they're like, just keep
burn it
going.
down.
Serbs are built different.
Yes. Yes. All right.
One of the great documentaries is if you ever get to see this Maradona documentary on HBO
Yeah.
when he came to Italy
Uh-huh.
and you saw like what it's like. I've never seen anything like what these guys go through. Like you just can't live a normal life.
No,
You know, and
it's yeah.
the pressure, the going on the road, like people want to kill you.
Right. No, it's scary.
I feel like a perfect encapsulation of the time of year and where the sport is the fact that we haven't even mentioned baseball once.
Oh God.
It's April.
I know.
Check like
relax,
look at all the like leaders and then check back in a month. They'll all be
Yeah.
different.
Although
Most
one of my
part.
favorite moments in baseball did happen. Did you guys see any of the viral video of the I think it was the Yankees game where the ump threw out
Oh
the
yeah, I saw
manager
that. Yeah,
because of something someone in the crowd
Yes,
said?
I did see that.
That was
yeah.
awesome. That was
You know how much
hilarious.
Aaron Boone is hated? Even my friends that are Yankee fans, because I'm on a text group and we put it up. They're like, "Well, Aaron Boone's an asshole. He was gonna say anything anyway, so it doesn't really matter."
Right.
That
Like
was
he
the
was-
response.
If
He
you
just
were
went-
that guy, I would be bragging about that all week. If you
Yeah,
were like the guy in the
Right.
stands that got him
I'm
booted
the
out.
one who said it.
yeah.
I got booted.
Do you think that encourages fans to do even more shit talking now?
Of
If
course.
they could like
Yeah.
potentially get their
They should
manager
set fires
booted?
in Yankee Stadium.
No, I'd be like, "Hey, ump, it's me, Aaron Boone. Fuck you." You know? All right, let's do this. This week, Dark Side of the Ring, the gentleman, Chris Adams. But was he really a gentleman?
No. Can I just say, me and Luke talked about this before the episode. We're gonna butt heads on this one.
Ooh.
I don't think we're going to butt heads in the way you think we are. I think
Okay.
this guy definitely did some terrible shit, and I don't nobody is going to condone what he did.
Yeah.
I just kind of felt like this guy, it just felt like this guy had potential, just nailed his head against the wall at every turn to fuck himself up in
Sure.
all of his decisions and his career decisions, life decisions. And it was a real shame because things could have went a whole lot different for this guy. And instead, he.
How did this not make the first season?
I don't
mean, there's
know. I don't.
nothing
Do you
darker than
remember?
this guy.
Chris, I remember
pretty
Chris
fucking
Adams.
dark.
Oh, I do too.
I
and
used to
knew the
watch him
story.
wrestle with the Van Eriks. I have this seared in my head. I must have been like 7 years old. I'm watching this, and they're like, "Well, let's catch up with Chris Adams," and he's shirtless, like lying on his Porsche, and they're like, Chris, what's going on? He's like, "Man," and he was like just the cool hot shit back in the day. And then I didn't really ever see him again after that until he was getting his ass kicked.
And it brought back the great gentleman, or the great Gino Hernandez. When you watch just clips of him, you're like, why did this guy die? He was so fucking good.
Oh, he was like, yeah.
He was like Ric Flair with a Southern accent.
Yeah. All right. So Mr. Chris Adams, all the way from England, mate. Came from a heavy judo family.
Yeah.
Brother was a silver medalist, 2-time silver medalist in the Olympics.
For judo, baby.
Judo. That means you're tough. Judo, if you're a high level judo, you can fuck people up.
Yeah.
Chris was good at judo too, but couldn't get to his brother's level. So kind of switched over to wrestling later on. And then he ended up moving to LA seeking stardom. He's got his pregnant girlfriend with him, Jeannie Clark. Then of course she's there. And then he starts hitting the road doing gigs and he starts seeing other women.
Well, let's be honest. Like, for him to come to the U.S., he's got the accent, he's got the body.
Yeah.
He's a wrestler. I mean, the temptation. How do you become faithful?
No, I mean, I think it's like the story of any young man.
Yeah.
You hook up with someone early, and then you're like, wait, whoa, I want one of those, and one of those, and one of those, and you can have them in LA. Eventually moves to Dallas to join WCCW. That's the Von Erich Promotions.
World-class championship wrestling.
World-class championship wrestling. And he became very successful, and he was as big as the Von Erichs, often working with them and then creating rivalries with them too.
Yep.
And he was very known for being a hothead. And he was ferocious when he was mad. This was one of my favorite things in this Dark Side, because during the vignettes, they would show
the red eyes.
His eyes got red, and they literally made him red like a demon.
Like Teen Wolf.
Yeah, he looked like Teen Wolf in there. And
we haven't seen those eyes since the.
Do you think the Dark Side guys were laughing when they did that? Because it was.
I don't know. It reminded me
looking.
of Teen Wolf, because Teen Wolf, like before he became the werewolf, like the first times, his eyes just were red, and it was like that bad, special effects from the 80s.
Because I've never seen them do anything like this. Take these artistic liberties. And they did it, and it's just very funny looking. All of a sudden, this guy has glowing red eyes, and it was just like, here comes the demon. So he eventually became a heel wrestler and teamed up with our boy Gino Hernandez.
I love Gino.
And boy, did they party hard. I'm going to go ahead and play that clip. This is the Iceman, one of his wrestling partners, talking about how all the women they could get.
And women, unbelievable. You get more pussy on accident than you did on purpose. You hear me? I'm just keeping it real, man.
Yep, more pussy on accident than on purpose. That happened to you a lot, man.
In my life,
Yeah, stand-up days, and also they did a little bit of drugs. Let's listen to what that scene was like with Gino and Chris.
San Antonio, after the matches, we all went to the Best Western up on the 3rd floor, man. They had 3 rooms. They had 2 tables in each room. I'm talking about bricks of cocaine, weed. Then the next room, they had pills and everything. They had a pyramid bill, Jack Daniels for the free birds. Then they had my champagne over there, you know what I'm saying? And then they had a cop on each door. I said, how the They doing all this dope, and then these police out there, they getting the police officers $1,000 a piece, man. Police just turn their head, man.
Damn, Chris and Gino ran that shit.
They sure did.
Jim was like zoning out, and then he hears
No, I was
whiffs of
hearing- no.
cocaine, and he's like,
You know what the
"Ooh."
thing is? Like when
Us-
you're the Iceman and you live this life and you were getting these women and you were having fun,
Yeah.
are you happier now just like relaxing? Or like then or you're like, God, I missed those days.
I mean, I'm sure a part like, your life, like even the amount of partying I did, which probably didn't compare to these dudes.
Yeah.
Although some nights, but your life gets way more tame and more simplified later on. But yeah, you're
Mhm.
definitely going to be missing some fun
Yeah.
nights for sure once in a
Absolutely.
while.
Mhm, mhm.
Then of course, as we all know, Gino died. Maddie, was it an accidental death? Or
Well,
was he
they tried to
killed?
make it what's it called? Like look like in this episode that it was what's it called? Like
Ambiguous?
it was a cocaine overdose.
Yeah,
Oh.
This
Right.
one. They
right.
really made it into a mystery the first time around,
Yeah.
and now they made this one more into like a mystery.
Yeah. So Gino dies. They didn't really say like how this affected Chris or if Chris was just always going to be an asshole no matter what happened. So Chris was in Israel wrestling there. He gets
Oh.
in a fight with a bartender. So Chris's move was a super kick, and he was a judo guy, so he knew really how to do this shit. And he did this super kick to a bartender in Israel during an argument and kicked the guy's eye out. Here was his brother talking about this.
In Israel, it happened, and I'll never forget, I get a call from the local promoter there, and he's like, you got to get over here, you got to get over here. Chris got in an argument with the bartender, and he super kicked him in the side of the head, and it knocked his eye out. I mean, his eye literally came out.
Imagine like you're that guy with your eye came out, and they're like, what happened? Well, I was super kicked.
You know, Shawn Michaels does a lot to Chris
Super kick
Adams.
would be a good excuse.
Right. What you mean kick? No, super kicked.
Shawn Michaels owes so much to Chris Adams.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The Sweet Chin Music is definitely a super kick. For
Yes.
sure. For sure. So that was just like one incident. Then almost shortly thereafter, he ends up roughing up a pilot. Here is shit. I thought I had a clip for that. Oh yeah, no, this one's fantastic. This is Kevin Von Erich talking about the time when Chris Adams roughed up a pilot.
Chris's eyes were that red light goes on his eye. Chris Adams had that co-pilot by the lapels of his coat, and his feet weren't even touching the ground. And Chris said, "Feel the power," and was pumping his head into his face, and blood everywhere.
If he wouldn't
I mean,
Feel the power.
this guy's super kicking people's eyes out. He's yelling out, "Feel the power," before pounding a pilot's
And you
face
think
in.
he's a good guy.
I didn't think he was a good guy at all.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. I can empathize with this sort of eternal struggle
How
of just
dare you.
shooting yourself in the foot at all times.
Shooting yourself in the foot, he's a criminal. He
Oh,
could have
yeah.
he could have endangered 200-300 people.
Nah, I was just the co-pilot. There was another pilot there.
Just
knew
a
what he was.
co-pilot.
Yeah, Chris knew what he was
Would have
doing.
been fine.
I
Chris
guess
knew-
that's why they have two pilots for idiots
Yeah.
like this.
That's right. It's called the Chris Adams rule.
Yeah.
Got to have two pilots in case some guy says "feel the power" on your plane.
Fucking beats the
And-
fuck out of you.
Yeah.
But like
Okay.
after that, how can anybody like him?
Well,
I don't care how much you drink.
he got prison time for this. He served like
3
90.
months.
Yeah, 3 months, 90
He
days.
served
in
his
jail.
time, Maddie.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
served his time. Maddie, can't people come back?
Sure. Yeah, everybody has a chance to get a fifth chance.
So he comes back, and this time he gets a little more industrious. He starts a wrestling school. He sells VHS instructional tapes for wrestling. He ends up training Stone Cold Steve Austin. This
Who is
was my
that?
This was my favorite part of it. This is back when he was like stunning Steve Austin. He had these
Yeah.
long flowing blonde locks. And so Chris had broken up with his pregnant girlfriend that we mentioned before.
Mhm.
And now he says, but they remain good friends and they were, you know, they both had
Well, he used her as a valet.
right. So used her as a valet. And then he creates this angle where she's going to be teaming up with Steve Austin and managing him. And that's his girlfriend, Jeannie Clark. And they start, and then Steve Austin and her start dating. And they end up having this match between Chris Adams and his new wife, along with his ex-girlfriend and Steve Austin. And they're like, the daughter of Chris Adams and his ex-wife was really funny. She's like, this is my childhood, seeing your
I know, isn't that weird?
dad, your stepmom, your mom, and Stone Cold Steve Austin all fighting each other.
It is pretty wild, right?
It's insane. I mean, literally, that's nuts.
I mean, that's not
Um,
a normal childhood.
So yeah, so they were kind of angling it like, oh, he trained Steve Austin. But then when I was looking up this one, Steve Austin basically said, I mean, he was just basically a fucking crook and a scoundrel and just kind of took people's money and didn't do much with them, to be honest. So I don't
Yeah.
know if that stems from his relationship with his ex or if that's really how he felt about Chris's school and tutelage. But it was pretty funny because that did not get mentioned on the show at all. I guess they were taking digs at him in many other areas as he deserved, but they decided not to do it on that one. So they were still like in cahoots back then, and Austin leaves for WCW. This is like his start of his big ascension. And then Chris continues boozing and eventually beats the shit out of his wife to the point she needed facial surgery.
Great guy, huh, Luke?
He's the best. Hey, you don't know. She might have called him ugly or something.
Yeah.
Austin, so then he heads to another promotion, and there's this guy there named Rod the Bod that has all these hair extensions that are like
this is
sewn
sick.
into his scalp. They're sewn into his fucking scalp. It's not just like
Yeah.
glued or
It
weaved
wasn't
in.
pretty.
And Chris knew this and intentionally rips out the guy's extensions. There was so much blood. Rod the Bod just ran out of the ring and just went straight to the hospital. It took him like 200 stitches to get his bleeding under control. And Chris knew this and he did it on purpose.
Great guy, though. Right, Luke?
I think so. I mean, those extensions look terrible.
You know what was hard watching, though? Like, I'll say this, Luke, is that he was surrounded by nice people. Like, his son seems really nice, his daughter, the promoters, the wrestlers, his brother. And it's like all these really nice people were around him that keep making excuses for him. Like, the only guy, Von Erich, is the only guy that was like, look, he was like out of the ring, he was a terrible person.
Well, Bure, I mean, at least they said when it came to him beating up his wife, they're like, no. You know, a couple guys
Yeah.
were very adamant, like, no, we don't condone that at all. You know.
Sure.
And then he finally got his big call up to WCW and just was used as a jobber for about 2 years and then left.
That's a bit embarrassing thing because, like, you're a better wrestler than 90% of the guys, but
yeah.
you're old, you're a has-been, and they're just using you to like be the guy that gets beat up to put over guys, and it's tough and it's humiliating. And I feel from there, but I don't like he put himself in a lot of these positions where
he did.
he couldn't be trusted. He was a pain in the ass, and if he was around alcohol, he's a demon.
Yeah, this is like, I mean, this is get sobriety fast. You know, this is 101.
This
I
is
used
like
to
the
work
worst
with a guy.
drunk you know.
I
Times
used
a
to
million.
work with a guy that used to be a nice kid, and when he would drink, and it was a Jekyll Hyde thing where
I had a friend
it
like
was
that.
Scary. Yeah.
One of my friends used to be like that. When he would drink, we had like this alter ego for him. He would get very upset and start like flipping tables and shit.
Yeah, this dude would just throw bottles on the street and like throw like, and you're just like, what are you doing, man? Like, and he would then not remember a darn thing.
And then just do it again. Like,
Well,
even
he
though
did go
people,
on his apology tour, and he came over to my house, and and I think he knows like now, like this is it's like a switch.
well, good.
Every-
Okay,
eh,
good.
eh, The hard thing is it's scary to tell these people about it because they don't remember. Like they don't remember what they did. So how can they think bad about what they did? And when you tell them, they're like, "Nah, that's not me." And
Would
that
never
could
do
have been
that.
the case with Chris Adams. Not that I'm making excuses for him,
Well,
but
he
a
went
lot
to
of these
like
guys.
prison I
But
mean,
still, their
it,
egos.
well, it's just like you can't like he just could not get out of his own fucking way, and he was just a terrible drunk, and it was just
He'd
like
always
every
have
time,
enablers too.
yeah, and then even though because he had some notoriety, so people are always as
Yeah,
long as you're allowed to do it, you're gonna do it.
absolutely.
So after he just left WCW, or I saw somewhere that they fired him. I saw another thing where he said he quit because he was just being a jobber. I'm not sure, but he ended up getting another DWI or something, and that's when they said WCW fired him.
Yeah.
And then after leaving that, he gets addicted to GHB, which is also known as like a rape drug. So, which is a very bizarre drug to get addicted.
Yes, it
And
is.
who
That's
is
one of the
taking
weirder.
this for? You got to be sick for taking that for recreational purposes, and then putting it in like a 120-pound woman's body.
Well,
Like,
it was
how is it?
big in the 90s with, ravers and shit like that.
Yeah,
Like,
but just gross, man.
so then he's so down on his luck, he has to move in with a wrestling fan.
Let's also say the woman died.
Maddie, would you read the fucking rundown?
Oh, sorry. I thought that was before.
Fucking dipshit.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm so sorry.
Fucking the Chris Adams of podcasting over here. Could have called you the Vince Champ. I did not.
No, please
Held
don't
back.
do that. All right, I apologize.
So he moves in with this guy named Boo Ray. Imagine you're like this English guy known as the Gentleman, and now you're like in your 40s and you're addicted to GHB in Texas, and you have to move in with a guy named Boo Ray.
Boo Ray's a great name,
Like,
especially
what
Texas,
decisions
Louisiana,
have you
whatever.
made in your
Let
life?
me tell you about Boo Ray. I
Yeah.
played online poker. We always have a Zoom. We had a guy named Smokey, and he was from Texas, and he looked exactly like Boo Ray. And he was
Probably related.
terrible poker player, and we had to kick him off Zoom because he was blasting like 38 special while playing. And one of the guys like, "Can you just turn that shit off?" And then he never came on Zoom again. And he had this mustache and the mullet. He looked exactly like Boo Ray.
It probably was Boo Ray.
So he's like
Could've
playing, he's just cranking Hold On Loosely, like while you're
Yes.
trying to make
Hold on,
bets.
loose. And his name was Smokey, spelled Smookey. And he was just known as the worst player.
I was a local roadie for 38 Special once, and
There you
I
go.
was taking a nap while they were rehearsing, and they got done. They go, "What? Not exciting enough for you?"
Where's the
It was funny.
GHB?
Those guys are all related to the Skinner guys, by the way.
It
Little-
must be humiliating though,
little
like
side
when
bit.
you're a pro and you're
Yeah.
one of the best and you're so down on your life that you got to move in with a sad fan that's like, "Oh, I'll take Chris
Maddie,
Adams
you-
because I'm a wrestling fan."
You're one move away from moving in with Jason Ongoko. You know that, right?
That could happen.
It's gonna happen. So while he's living with Boo Ray, he meets this beautiful young girl named Linda, and they just fall madly in love. And it's like, oh, he's gonna get his life in order, but no, they just party together. And then they both take GHB one night, and she doesn't wake up. And Boo Ray, this was an interesting quote. He said he was woken up by the silence. Basically, they were partying all night, and when they stopped, when they both passed out, he woke up, and he notices she's not breathing, and he's trying to revive her. It's called the cops. So then she passed away. So this is like another fucking dumb decision by Chris Adams.
How did he not go to prison?
Well, he
I-
got charged. Well, this is why, Maddie. This is why. Because he gets charged with manslaughter.
Yeah.
But something happened before the trial happened, Maddie. So one night he's drunk with Boo Ray, or in the middle of the day, he's drinking with Boo Ray. And then he gets his red eyes,
Yeah.
and Boo Ray doesn't know what he said at all. And he starts attacking Boo Ray. And he has him pinned down, and he's like biting him and punching Boo Ray and everything. Boo Ray reaches off to the side, grabs his gun, and shoots Chris Adams and kills him.
That's the mistake you make right there. Anyone named Boo Ray will always have a firearm within reach.
Yes,
At
don't
any point.
fuck with Boo Ray. And so that's why he never went to jail, Maddie, because Boo Ray killed him. And that was it, dude. Yeah. So it was a
What a
really,
life.
yeah, wow. So much life in like these, 50 years of living or whatever he did. It was pretty fucking nuts. And the thing I love about the most is he's like an Englishman known as
Yeah.
the gentleman.
It's
And that's how his
garbage.
life
He's no
ends.
gentleman.
Oh, he's
Why
a
not
good-
call gentleman Vince Champ? This garbage, and it's like they're like, he was a good guy. It's just too bad alcohol.
Well, that was his daughter. People are multifaceted, like there's different sides to different people.
There was other people that were making excuses for him.
No,
He's a
of
horrible
course.
guy. He killed a woman. He almost killed hundreds of people on an airplane. And don't tell me he did it.
And
He
he
was
beat
a
the shit
horrible
out of his
guy.
wife. No, he did a lot of dumb shit. A lot of bad shit,
A lot of bad shit.
for
Yep.
sure. The only two people to do worse things than him are Vince Champ and Matty Goldberg.
And OJ Simpson.
Oh, no, I don't know. OJ, if you stack their records, they both each have like a murder essentially.
Yeah.
I think Chris
shocked.
Adams did all
Yeah.
this other shit too. So
Yeah,
I'm
Chris
just
Adams
shocked
might
he-
be
double
worse
murder.
than OJ.
I'm shocked they didn't do an episode earlier because I knew all about all this. I'm like, how are they not doing an episode about him? Because
Right.
this is dark side. This is as dark as you can get.
Yeah, this was a one tortured fucking soul.
I mean, there's not even any humor. Like at least Herb Abrams had some humor in it. Like
Right.
this guy is just a disgusting guy, and I know Austin hates him because
Yeah.
he would have participated. But he probably realized I have nothing good to say about this guy. And I made myself. He might have been my teacher, but I'm the one who got in a car, drove, and performed for $5 for 10 years. Got fired from WCW. Had to go to ECW after getting fired. Had to be in WWF, and they didn't know what to do with me for years. I did it, not Chris Adams.
Yeah. I mean, Austin called him, he's the most Jekyll and Hyde person I've ever met. And he did say that he was just full of shit. I don't even think he gives him credit for his wrestling because he said that was just kind of a swindle almost.
Yeah, his school was a scam. They didn't even give you free tights.
Yeah, it looked like it.
You had to pay for the tights.
I don't know. Maybe I should get those VHS tapes and take up some wrestling.
I'm curious to hear what Cornette has to say, because he'll probably tell sometimes he defends the worst people. So
There wasn't even room in this episode for Cornette. This guy was
No.
just fucking up so much. You didn't even
Yeah.
have time for Cornette to get in there with his little anecdotes.
and how do you get this guy on bail? That's the thing. So if he murders this girl and he's on for manslaughter, he shouldn't be posting bail. This guy is all the things you have, like keep this guy off
Come on,
the
Maddie. I thought
streets.
you went to law school. Manslaughter is not premeditated. It's an accidental. It's more of a negligent kind of
I
thing.
understand, but when you have okay, let's look at his record. He fucking headbutt. You know how crazy you have to be to headbutt a guy who runs a plane, or what
Listen,
do they call
that
it?
guy needed to feel the power.
Yes, he
Okay.
did.
Okay.
He was just
I mean, how would you look if
Let
you
them
were in
feel
that
it.
plane and you see the captain of the plane getting his ass kicked? And you're like,
I'd be like, he
What
should
if
have
there's
felt
a-
the power.
You know what? You know who needed to be on that plane? Mark Wahlberg.
Yes.
He would have stopped him. He would have stopped Chris Adams.
Possibly. Or Steven Seagal in one of those Under Siege movies.
Maybe. I don't know.
Great. It was a good episode, though. I'm excited for Sherry Martell this week. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh yeah, Scary Sherry.
Sensational Sherry, yeah.
I wonder what kind of shit they're gonna say about her.
It is wild that like we know these people. Like I've watched her for years. Jim never watched her.
Nope.
Did you watch Sunny, Jim? Or are you too young for Sunny?
What was Sonny?
Sunny was probably mid '90s.
It's ECW.
She was
Too
no,
young.
she was the WWF girl, Skipping Sunny.
What?
She's in jail for DWI for killing him.
Oh yeah, Tammy Lynn Sitch. Yeah, we've
Tammy
talked
Lynn
about her
Sitch.
We've
plenty
talked
of
about her.
times.
I've seen the pictures, but I didn't
Yeah.
grow up with her.
Yeah, I grew up with her. Yeah, I spanked my Jack to that one. Not
So
on
have I,
her
Matty.
that one.
Now you do.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
I
brother.
love that
You love that.
meme of
You love
her.
those mug shots.
It's like they show her when she's super hot, like, and then they show her like in jail when she's all 50 pounds overweight and old. And
Yeah,
it's like
doesn't
when
matter.
when the
right?
homecoming queen finally decides to give you a chance.
Mhm. Mhm.
Jim still would though.
I would, yes.
No doubt. No doubt. I bet you got a writer, Jim. We talked about you being her pen pal.
Really?
Yeah. Back during her episode,
That's
Man.
right. That's right.
Chris and Tammy.
By the way, the Vegas Knights are up 2-0. I predicted the Stars would make the cup. Sees how much I know. The Oilers and Kings are tied at 4, and Oklahoma City Thunder easily won against the New
Yeah.
Orleans. Where I don't think Zion Williamson played again.
No, he got a hamstring or something. I don't
Oh,
know.
poor guy.
Being fat and out of shape. That's what happens.
Yes. Right
That's-
for the playoffs. Him and Quali completely ready for the playoffs.
All right. Anything to add before we head out today? Anything to any
Nah, much
UFL?
love, boys, and I will be ready next Tuesday.
Week 5 in the UFL is all about chaos. Roughnecks over Stallions. Book it.
Wow. Bold. You heard it here first, folks. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next week after a post NFL draft, and we'll talk then. Have a great week. We'll see you next time for another exciting edition of the Sports Hole. Bye-bye.
All right, boys. See you guys later.